Alright, everyone, this is Fernie back over here doing another special interview on this time my aliens and UFOs videos. Once again, I am here with the lovely, talented, amazing, beautiful, spectacular, everything you can think of in terms of being special. Randy.
It's all a scam.
So, you guys, she's a fan favorite still. And so I was lucky enough to be able to have her here to do not just one but a second interview. This time, though, we're going to talk about some great stuff involving aliens, UFOs. But first, again, let me introduce everyone here. Randy.
Aww, you flatter me. You're way too kind. I don't know what he sees in me, guys. I don't know what you see in me. Look, you can't see me right now, but that's beside the point. But anyway, thanks for having me back, Fernando.
Absolutely. They love you, Randy. So, but yes,
you guys.
This was going to be now a set of stories, not just one, but two, on the aliens and UFO side. And these are both separate encounters to people that Randy knows. Both of them pretty memorable stuff. Both of them involving, for lack of a better term, UFOs. So when I was hearing the information, I thought it would be really great to share with everyone here. So without further ado, Randy, if you wanted to go ahead, please, and share those two fantastic stories.
Well, thank you, Fernando. Well, I'd say that these are, I wouldn't say they're extraterrestrial in nature because I really don't know for sure, but they were unidentified flying objects, so definitely UFO stories.
Okay.
The first story came from a very dear friend and mentor of mine who'd known me since I was like 12. And she had a fascination with stuff like ufology, and she was telling me a story of her and, oh, sorry, not her, this is a separate story, my apologies. This was her brother, traveling down a very long stretch of a country road, and this is back, there weren't really light posts so far out there in the country, no cell phones, it was just him and his clunker pickup truck. And he was just driving down the street. It wasn't even a paved road. It was just a very, very long dirt road. And there was no one out there. And up ahead, like about near his vanishing point, he saw like a red light, a very like small red light. And at first he thought it was the tail light of a motorcycle or something. And he just kept driving along. He's just trying to get home. It's somewhat late in the evening, but this is also a very small town. It's practically a village, so there weren't going to be a whole lot of people out there anyways. But he keeps driving along. He doesn't change his pace at all, doesn't change his speed. And he notices that light up ahead is actually moving closer to him.
Oh, wow.
And as it gets closer, he realizes that it looks less red and more of like a bright orange, yellow kind of mix. And it's coming closer, but it's also picking up speed. It's getting closer and closer to him, and he actually stops to, look out and make sure that he wasn't on a train track or something. He thought it was like a locomotive coming his way. And then when he looks back up out the windshield, it is right in front of him, and it soared past him so quickly. He jumped so hard, like he thought it was going to run into him and kill him. And just as quickly as it went overhead, it was gone. There was no trace of it. There was no light. There was no residual. This is my mentor Sandra's story that her brother told her, and it's, okay. I don't know what to make of it.
And when you say he stopped, like, did he stop his car and get out, or was it like he stopped and was still in his car when that thing was there?
No, he was still in his car. He didn't get out of his car, but like, and he kind of stopped and just went, wait, am I on a train track? And he just kind of looked out his window and.
Oh.
And so he basically looked away from the road, yes, but he more or less pulled over. And in the time it took him to look down and see that he was just on that same dirt road he'd always driven on, he looked up and the light was right there and it flew over him. He thought it was going to run into him. And then as soon as it passed over, it vanished.
Wow. Now, I have talked about orange UFOs, orange ball of light UFOs on my channel, which is a unique phenomenon. They're smaller, though. Like, they're probably about the size of, like, if you were to take the size of your average dog, like, it would be a circle surrounding the dog. That's how large they are. So did he say like how large this one was by any chance?
Well, he mistook it for a train light, an older train light. So he didn't really say it got any bigger than that. It just came up on him really fast.
Wow.
And it was too fast to really get a good look at it. He just described it as a very bright orangish yellow light that looked red in the distance.
Wow.
And come to think of it, he's not even sure how far in the distance it was. It looked like it was like, at the vanishing point, and it was just really small, but it may have been that much closer, and that much bigger, and he didn't even realize it until it was right on him.
Wow. What an amazing encounter. And then the second story, what do we have there?
Well, this one is another people close to my life, and again, this was back in the, I would say around 50s and 60s. Again, another old country back road, and they were traveling between two towns in a very, very sparsely populated area. And this one really was late at night. I remember they were telling me it was about 2 or 3 in the morning. And they were just driving along, 1 or 2 cars have passed by, but it's in a pretty well-known area. It's not out in the middle of nowhere. It's just not a whole lot of people lived out there. And at some point, I would say roughly around the halfway point between these two towns, their truck suddenly dies on them. I mean, it doesn't just like sputter and die and slow down. They were driving along, and then everything just shut off.
Wow.
And obviously it coasted to a stop, but everything just went dead, and they couldn't figure out why. And again, this was before cell phones or GPS or any of that, and no OnStar. So they were trying to figure out where they were at, if there was any gas stations nearby, any pay phones or whatnot. So they are actually standing outside trying to figure out what's wrong with the truck. And then they described it as they heard this really deep, really low, really loud rumbling, humming, kind of like a huge, like a jet flying right over them, but it wasn't just here, it was like, and they couldn't figure out where the noise was coming from. It just sounded very unnatural, according to them. It was unlike any sound they'd ever heard before, like mechanical, but there was no way it could have been, because nothing made that sound. But next thing you know, and it's pitch darkness out there. This is in the backwoods, in the middle of nowhere. And all of a sudden, it was as bright as if the sun was overhead, like high noon. It looked like everything was in its place, but instead of being nighttime, the wee hours in the morning, all of a sudden it was daytime. And they were looking around trying to process this, and then all of a sudden the light was gone and the sound was gone. And then a couple of beats after that, the truck turned back on.
Okay.
And so obviously they made it back safe and sound, but I know these folks. They don't make up stories like that. They're skeptics when it comes to ufology and paranormal, and they had no explanation for what happened.
So they were driving in the middle of nowhere, pitch black. They heard this very large mechanical something type of sound, vibrational something, and then all of a sudden it went above them, I guess.
That's our guess, because it was like surrounding them. They couldn't figure out where it was coming from, what direction it was in. It was just all over them, and then the light changed.
Wow.
It was like someone just flipped the switch for it to be daytime, and then it was gone and the sound was gone. That
means that light would have been so bright and so large that the surrounding area would have looked like you said, like the sun was on.
Yeah, it looked like...
That's incredible.
Yeah, high noon.
Like the magnitude and the power for something like that. Wow.
Which, again, I got no proof that this is extraterrestrial, but that definitely is... I'm assuming it's flying, and it's unidentified. I can't find an explanation for it. It is fascinating, and I wish I could have witnessed it myself.
Yeah, that would have been quite an encounter right there, too. Wow. I don't have anything like that on my channel that I can recall, like other type of encounters like that. So that's a first. That's definitely something.
New Mexico is a strange place.
UFO country there too. Absolutely.
Yeah, well, they call it the land of enchantments. Probably not for reasons you'd expect.
Awesome. Well, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments too. Plus, check out the other video that I did as well with Randi, where we were going over another story, this time on the skinwalker side. I'll include the link for it below too. Anything else you'd like to mention? Any last thing related to those encounters? Anything else?
it's hard to whittle it down because there's some pretty odd stuff, and some of which I don't even know how to explain the story of. I mean...
Oh, you mean like another story?
There's a few others, and some of them I don't even know if they're worth mentioning because they're just like a little blip in time.
No, we can hold those for another video.
Yeah.
But definitely, like, any last words on these encounters?
Well, I'd like to know what everyone's theories are because this was like 15, 20 years ago, and I still got nothing. But it's stuff I like to think about.
Yeah, the first one again is closest thing might be those orange ball of light UFOs, the smaller ones, but the second one, I got nothing. So if you guys have any comments, like Randy was mentioning, anything that you wanted to share, let me know too, please. But thank you so much, Randy.
Thank you so much, my friend.
All right.
Peace.